know there's quite a lot to talk about all around TCU football, Brian, but let me tell you, all across TCU athletics, there's so much going on, so let me fill you in with this week's sports report. Starting off, women's soccer went on a 2-game road trip and came away 1-1. They started off in Ames, Iowa to take on Iowa State. The stat sheet doesn't quite well represent how many chances the Frogs did have, but Yasmin Ryan in the 98th minute came through and put the Frogs ahead 1-0 to get the win over Iowa State. The team then traveled to Morgantown where they took on West Virginia, but sadly fell 2-0. But tomorrow night, the Frogs come home and take on the Baylor Bears at 7 p.m., so Frog fans come out and support. Now moving on, men's and women's cross country is back in action this weekend as they compete at the Big 12 Championships at Round Rock. Now, fun fact for you guys, this is actually the same venue that they competed at earlier this year at the UT Preview. Now moving on to volleyball, who just wrapped up the first half of conference play and return home to take on West Virginia tonight at the Rickle. Now moving on to rifle, another first place as the Frogs came away on top at Murray State, firing the third highest team mark in program history. Now women's rifle returns to the range this Saturday as they take on Nebraska and Memphis. Men's basketball went to the Big 12 Media Day earlier this week to catch up with media and preview this upcoming season. Now mark your calendars, Frog fans, on November 3rd at 5 p.m. The team has a scrimmage right here in the Schollmaier. And also mark your calendars for this weekend, TCU baseball has their Purple-White World Series at 10:30 on Saturday and 11 a.m. on Sunday. Come out and check out the Frogs. And finally, moving on to equestrian, who's in the thick of their season right now. They just took on the #1 Georgia Bulldogs and now are set to take on Texas A&M this upcoming week. I sat down with one of the riders earlier this week to see how the team is doing, what they're looking forward to this season, and how she balances the life as a student athlete. I'm joined now by Emily Burgess, senior on our equestrian team here at TCU. I kind of wanted to start out, Emily, and kind of, for the outsider looking in, break down the sport of equestrian for me.
Okay, so the whole sport or college?
Let's say college riding.
Okay, college riding. So it's one big team on college riding, but we're each split up into 4 divisions. And so you have your English side and then your Western side. And on English, you have jumping, and then you have the flat, which is kind of like dressage. I don't know if you've ever seen that. And then on Western, you have reining, which is the sliding stops. And then you have horsemanship, which is about like looking pretty and like looking around and making sure the horse looks easy while you're going. And so each team is separated into like 5 riders on each side, and they're each matched up on one horse. And one girl on one team and one girl on our team will ride against on the same horse, and whoever gets the highest point wins.
So every time you compete, you are riding a different horse every time. Is that kind of the twist to it?
Yeah, so it's a random draw. You ride, even when we play on our own team, we're riding a different horse, like our own horses.
And I saw there's 16 teams in Division I in collegiate equestrian.
Yeah.
But so was this something, it's a kind of a limited number of sports or a limited number of colleges that have it.
Yeah.
Did you know growing up that you kind of wanted to ride, or how did that come about?
I actually did not know about college equestrian until my trainer, my older trainer, he had a daughter. He has 3 daughters, and the oldest one went to A&M. And I didn't even know like college equestrian was a thing until she was like, yeah, I got a full ride to A&M. And I was like, wait, that's something? And she was like, yeah, they have this whole collegiate equestrian. And I was like, oh, I got to get into this. And so I started researching. I looked at schools and like which ones I wanted to go to, and TCU just stood out from the beginning.
Now, I hate to bring it up, but you're a senior this year.
Yeah, so scary.
So how have you just been soaking up all the moments this year and just enjoying your time?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm like, it's pretty crazy. I remember like walking into orientation and frog camp freshman year and going, what is this? Oh my gosh, college. And now I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like I was looking at my academic progress and you're like, you're 93% of the way. And I was like, oh, okay.
So now the team this year, how are they looking?
Really good. We're looking really good. I'm really excited about this team this year. We're already ahead of Baylor, so that's a plus.
We love that.
Yeah, and then we just played Georgia, and we've won most of our meets, and so it's really, really good.
I saw you had Georgia last week, and then this week you take on A&M, which I saw it's 1 and 2. So and A&M won the national championship last year.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yep.
So what challenges do they present, and how are you looking to kind of take them on?
They are just a really strong team all around, which will be good because we are too. So I think A&M versus us is really going to come down to how we're riding and like where we are that day. It's not going to be like they're going to outride us. It's going to be like who's the better team that day. And I think we really stand a good chance against that.
Now I'm curious, walk me through a day in the life of yours. What's a day of training look like for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Classes are pretty strict this semester, but normally I'll get up, and it depends on if we have workouts that day or not. I tend to work out every day. And so on a day we have workouts, I'll wake up around like 6:15, get up, get ready for workouts, go to workouts, and then I have work right after workouts. And so I don't stop from like 6:15 until 3:30. Like,
And
I
where
just
do you
get out
work?
of class. I work at the IT center.
Ah, there you
I
go.
love
right
it.
on
It's
campus.
perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just right in between classes, which is
Wow.
really fun. And then I get out of work, and depending on if I have practice or not, I'll go to practice, and then I come back and I study until 10:30, and then I go to sleep.
The life of a student athlete.
Yeah,
a
it's
crazy one.
nonstop.
It's jam-packed. It's a full-time job before graduation, but it prepares you for the
It
post-graduation.
does. Yeah, it really does.
No doubt. Well, Emily, I appreciate you coming and taking the time to chat with me. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Now, stay tuned. We got more to come here on Horned Frogs Nation as Brian Estridge sits down with Coach Patterson and running back Kyle Hicks.